Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Ones Tarot. My name's Carmen, and today I wanted to do a reading for the Divine Feminine. Today was a pretty lucky day for me, or, maybe I make my own luck. I got 3 new decks today, and I'm going to use all 3 of them today. The first one that I'm going to pull from today is the Tattoo Tarot. And just to give you a taste for the artwork, here is the 5 of Cups. I'm pretty excited, but they're also really big cards, and my hands are pretty small, so I don't think I can do an entire reading with them. Alright. Well, we had the 4 of Swords flip over, but it didn't fall out, so maybe just like an overall energy is one of somebody who is taking some time for themselves, having a little bit of solitude, maybe having some deep thinking. Alright, actually, I forgot. Let's call it Spirit. Alright, Spirit, so what can you tell me about the people involved here? So I'll start off by getting a little bit of insight on the people involved, generally 2 folks. But if we have a 3rd one come out, we'll explore that as well. So we had the 3 of Wands flip over, but it didn't pop all the way out. Is that the only one? Yeah, okay. 3 of Wands generally speaks to waiting for your ships to come in. Alright, so we've got the 2 of Swords. 2 of Swords generally means not being on the same page as someone, not seeing eye to eye. Sometimes it means not having all of the information. And then we've got the Death card. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. It actually has some of the best art. You've got, obviously, it's easy to assume that the Death card is literal and actually means somebody is, deathly ill or losing their life. But even though there's a skeleton here, you can see there's a message of hope as well in the upper corner, where you've got a beautiful, I don't know, I would guess it's a sunrise, but maybe it's a sunset. And then you've got the beautiful roses, butterfly, but you can see that the woman is crying. So to me, death, especially in this card, can be, speaking to the idea of kind of a bittersweet loss. Like, it was supposed to be that way, but it still hurts. And then we've got the 10 of Wands with a bird flying to probably its death. 10 of Wands generally speaks to a burden. So that is, pretty heavy to bear, and probably, the end. When you see the number 10, that generally speaks to completion. So especially if we're talking about the context being the Death card and the 2 of Swords, it seems like we've got an evolution here of somebody who, maybe had gone through a little bit too much and couldn't find a resolution, so things had to change. I have, I think, one more that needs to come out from this deck. Alright, and then we've got the Page of Wands. Page of Wands can speak to good news coming in. So my gut is telling me that this would be the pairing, the 2 of Swords and the Page of Wands. So somebody who, maybe wasn't sure what to do, couldn't, find a way to make something work, And then there's a change. And then we've got the Death card and the Ten of Wands together. And for me, this is having a little bit more of a feeling of somebody who is maybe being more like forced to change, because whatever this other energy figured out has basically forced a tower moment. And you either change when you lose something you love, or you keep repeating the same patterns. Okay, so now we're going to be using the Tarot Familiares. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it makes me think in Spanish. Ooh. Okay, so we've got the Six of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Hanged Man. So, Six of Swords generally speaks to moving to calmer waters, moving away from trouble. And then we've got Three of Wands. Three of Wands speaks to waiting for your ships to come in, which is interesting because if you recall, when I was dealing with the Tattoo Tarot, there was a Three of Wands that popped out but didn't actually fall all the way out. And then we have the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is going to be obviously a situation where somebody is not quite sure how to get out of that situation. You've got some, questions or some information maybe that you need to figure out before you can decide on a direction. That definitely seems to align with the Two of Swords energy from the first pull. All right, let's get two more from this deck. I'm getting the feeling that we need to have the Hanged Man before the Three of Wands and the Six of Swords, and more of what I would call the future position. To get the sense that it's a matter of getting some information and then making changes. So we had the Knave of Cups come out. So that can speak to, like a creative person, somebody who is maybe a little bit more sensitive, definitely experiences those emotions, but maybe not so great at communicating them all the time. Ooh, I don't think I showed you the card. Fuzzy little owls, I believe. All right, so real talk, I have a completely lame fear of owls. I watched this movie, I think it was The Fourth Kind with Mila Jovovich, where she's like a hypnotherapist. It scared the crap out of me. Anyways, Ten of Pentacles. Not a bad card to get, especially when I would consider this to be more of a future position. So something that you would be heading towards. Okay, so now let's clarify with the Everyday Tarot. These are a little bit smaller of a deck, and I love the what I would call Art Deco artwork on it. All right, why do we have the Hanged Man here? Ooh, that's a lot. All right, I'll take the top one. We've got Two of Wands. So we've got another two here, Two of Swords and the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is going to speak to the idea of figuring out a direction, which makes a lot of sense because we're talking about, somebody going through some change, having a period of introspection, and it looks like changing patterns. We've got the Devil. It's funny because I was waiting for this card to come out. When you're talking about change, it's really good to see the Devil come out because it means letting go of attachments or bad habits that you may have And then we also have the Tower. No surprise there. I get the feeling this was more of a tower for the other person. I think it was like a drawn out tower for you, where you figured out but kind of struggled with the idea that you had to make this change. And then when you presented the updated boundaries or whatever changes that you needed to make for yourself, that really pushed the person who you're tied to into a tower moment where they needed to figure out how they wanted to respond to the changes that you had made. Okay, so for the Three of Wands, we've got the Chariot. And I also see the Strength card. So I feel like these are supposed to be together. And if they're clarifying the Three of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles in my mind. This is telling me that it took some strength for you to decide to no longer wait for your ships to come in or for someone else to change, and that you had to actually be the change that you wanted for yourself. Alright, one more for the Six of Swords. Kind of Ten of Pentacles, more of like your future. Interesting. Okay, so we've got a progression here, which I kind of like, even if it is swords energy. We've got Four of Swords and Five of Swords. So I believe we had Six of Swords already, so that's actually quite nice. We've got 4, 5, 6 of Swords. You guys, I can't believe this. 6 of Swords right here as well. I just have to look now. Alright, so this is telling me that it might be a longer period of time than you're expecting in terms of Seven of Swords. Okay. Yeah, this is seeming like you've got a lot of people who don't really like the change that you made for yourself. Maybe you've decided that you're really just, not about the bullshit anymore. You're not going to take, poor investments or poor efforts from other people while giving them the best of you. So I feel like you've definitely got some negative energy around you, and you've had to really kind of pull back your energy from certain people and reassess who you're willing to spend time with and who you're willing to, really be there for. And that's a good thing to do, because it does seem like you've got a couple of sneaky people around you. All right, so just for fun, I'm going to pull one last one, maybe two, from the Romance Angels Oracle deck. Because there's obviously some drama here. Let your friends help you. So we have to figure out who those people are first, because remember, we've got some sneaky energy over here. But once you figure that out, lean on them. Maybe that's just to remind you how awesome you are, because, sometimes it can be hard for us to remember that on our own. Or maybe it's to introduce you to that other hot guy that you saw once at this party 3 years ago. Or girl. All right, and then we've got, it is safe for you to love. So maybe you've already met somebody that you had a crush on. Ooh. So very soon flipped over, but didn't fall out. And then the two that fell out, let go of control issues. So maybe you have one of those ridiculous lists where, my guy has to be 6'2", even though I'm only 5'3". Let go of all that shit. Go off of energy. You've got to, well, first of all, you're going to attract somebody similar vibrationally. But, you got to make sure that you're being reasonable in terms of what you want and also appropriate. Know your worth. You don't want to be settling for somebody that doesn't tick your boxes in terms of intellectual stimulation, things like that. You deserve love. What a great card to end the reading on. So pretty obvious message there. You're lovable. You deserve to have somebody who sees you that way and makes you feel that way. So you can take some time for yourself, let go of the baggage and the heaviness of whatever this previous situation was, and look forward to some Ten of Pentacles energy and some love. All right, that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day.